Tesla.
Yes.
Where are you on Tesla at this point? You've been a bull for a very, very long time. We're at $287.
Yes. Well, as we have put out there, our target in 5 years, so 2030 again, is $2,600. And our confidence in that number has gone up now that Tesla is commercializing robo-taxis in August, in June. What we don't have in that number, and what is happening faster than we expected, and as you know, we're very focused on learning curves and how quickly new technologies are going to evolve. Humanoid robots. And Elon has been talking about that market being bigger ultimately than the robo-taxi market. And he talks about Tesla being number one globally when it comes to humanoid robots, and also says that China is number 2 to 10. So we have to get moving on that score as well. We think that's a $26 trillion revenue opportunity split between home and industrial in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be a huge market. And the reason Tesla is ahead of the game is we're talking about the three platforms it's already innovating on. Robots, robo-taxis are robots, energy storage, they will be electric, and AI. Those are the three technologies in the humanoid robot movement as well.
No toys for children, Trump is Grinch, and you all are going to get blamed for this. Was the political pressure and the consumer pressure building to an extent that critics are saying forced your hand?
Again, Laura, that I think a lot of American businesses have pre-positioned a lot of inventory. The trade deficit actually jumped because so many people bought in advance. And the companies that I've talked to have done that. So we are going to stick to our guns. But again, the U.S. and China have shared interest. They are the deficit country, though. They sell us about 4 times more than we sell them. So it would be felt harder in China, but we don't want a decoupling. We don't want to decouple.
Well, why would I play devil's advocate on that? Why wouldn't we want to decouple from China? We didn't trade with the Soviet Union. That ended up pretty well. Turned out pretty well. They hungered for our goods and desperately wanted what we had, and we didn't give it to them. Since China is our geopolitical adversary, and they have so much power over us because of their industrial base, they make a lot of ships now. We don't make as much at all, as President Trump said. So why wouldn't this be a time to decouple?
Well, Laura, let's split that into 2 pieces. So we don't want to decouple over textiles and things like that. What we do want to decouple over is exactly what you said. We want to decouple over strategic industries. And as I said before, the only good thing about COVID was it was a beta test if we were ever cut off from these strategic industries. And President Trump has told the entire trade team this cannot happen again. So whether it's steel, semiconductors, medicines, things like that, we are going to build it here. So we're going to bring back strategic manufacturing. We're going to bring back precision manufacturing, but there's
clothing, sneakers. Those aren't essential goods that affect our national security.
Well, they don't affect our national security, and there's things that we can make here in those categories. Very high-end things, but in terms of mass production, then they can have at it. This reporter behind me was quite snarky the other day when President Trump talked about the girl having 2 dolls, and he said, "Well, what?" President didn't take the question, but he said, "What would you tell that girl?" I said, "I would tell that young girl that you will have a better life than your parents, that you and your family, thanks to President Trump, can now be confident again that you will have a better life than your parents," which working class Americans had abandoned that idea. Your family will own a home. You will be able to advance. You will have a good education. You will have economic freedom.
Jerika, the flow of goods from China into the U.S. has slowed dramatically. The drop-off in activity could mean job cuts, shortages, and tough choices for consumers. Normally bustling berths sit empty at the Port of Los Angeles, facing 145% tariffs. Cargo coming from China is estimated to be down more than a third, according to port officials. Less cargo means fewer jobs for dock workers, truck drivers, and others in the supply chain.
We'd like to see China opened up so we can compete in China and, give people something that they've never had, access to something. That'd be great for the world. It would be great for our businesses.
Play devil's advocate for me, though. As you look at the administration's attempt to try to push something new, I'm just imagining this may take quite a long time here, Gordon.
Yeah, it could take a very long time. And it could basically take until the end of communism in China, because the problems that President Trump and others have identified are inherent in the Chinese political system. If I can play devil's advocate, I could say, for instance, that the Chinese economy is already contracting. We see this from price data from February, March, and April. And that suggests that the Chinese technocrats might start to panic and put pressure on Xi Jinping to do something that he does not want to do. So that's always possible, but it's going to be a long slug for everybody.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. Also, go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Kathy Woods on Tesla. Robo taxis. Humanoid robots in Tesla stock it hit 2,600. But what she leaves out is these robo-taxis are going to be using Bitcoin and crypto. These machines now have money, and they can run this economy without a human involved. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Scott Bretton, of course, meeting with China leaders today and tomorrow. And like I told you, these big corporations had already got the heads up of what was about to go down. So they already bought in all their goods to weather the storm. But we know when it comes to small business, medium-sized businesses, they don't have the money to do that. We're right back in 2020, 2021. Again, the squeeze is on small and medium-sized businesses. Why? Because it's the backbone of the United States. And Scott Bretton says he doesn't want to decouple from China. We know China has been decoupling from the United States since 2015. And now they're moving their goods over to the emerging markets and instead of the United States. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And that means these ports are going to start laying off. Truckers are going to take a hit. And remember, guys, we were supposed to be going through a port strike. They don't need a strike in order to lay people off. Only thing they have to do is halt the work. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Don't forget, this is a plan that moves in phases. And then once these people get laid off, only thing they're going to do is bring in automation. So therefore, the productivity doesn't get lost. Guys, this is a plan. Yes, it's an evil plan, but it's genius. And Trump says he wants China to open up business for the mainland. And we know that's not going to happen just yet. Remember, America was an experiment. They learned everything from the American experiment. Now they're ready to do the real thing in China, where the NWO can have complete control. And especially when you're talking about blockchain and these digital currencies is definitely biblical. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. They're using Hong Kong as the straw man. Now we have Kathy Wood says that we're at the end of a recession. We're definitely not at the end. We're probably in the middle. Remember, I told you we've been in a recession since October of 2023. And she talks about generative AI increasing productivity. But again, that's not fully here yet. We know all this AI, robots, algorithms, and drones are definitely going to increase productivity. They don't call out. They work 24/7. They don't need insurance. And they're definitely not going to talk back. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And guys, you can't make this stuff up. We have white South African refugees coming to America. Yes, guys, you heard that correct. Remember, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. Now we have Fox Business as the Vatican is almost broke. And yes, guys, you heard that correct. But the greatest part about this clip is you learn about usury laws. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. But we know the Vatican is definitely not broke. Remember, they wanted their money back. They took a lot of their money already out the system. Now we have Inventory bringing transmission lines to the U.S. And we have Germany leading the way. So if you have AI, self-driving trucks, cars, they can attach to these energy lines to stay charged. And again, we know the NWO tests this technology in different countries. So when it comes to us, to the masses, it looks new, but it's already been tested, tried, and ready to go. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have Japan with a 3D railway station built in a few days. And of course, we know all about the 3D printed homes where they can build in days. Like Kathy Wood stated, this technology is definitely going to pick up productivity. We're just not there just yet. But that fourth industrial revolution switch is about to get flipped. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Well, we have been saying, actually, I just put out a letter talking about the rolling recession we've been in for the last 3 years since the Fed jacked up rates. We got a negative quarter in the first quarter, potentially in the second quarter as well. And I think more and more people are getting concerned about an extended recession and amid all the uncertainty. We actually think we're at the end of this rolling recession and that we are moving into a period after all of this uncertainty of much greater productivity. And interestingly, if you look at the government sector, we're seeing unbelievable productivity moves taking place. There's a video out there between the FDA, the new head of the FDA, and the new head of CBER, and they're talking about generative AI in reviewing studies, medical trials, that cut work from days to minutes. So there's a lot of productivity, I think, evolving in the ecosystem. I think companies are now enterprises. We see from Palantir that this is now a strategic decision for companies. So I think we're going to see a lot more productivity-driven growth, which means inflation is going to be much lower than expected, which is going to be very capital-friendly.
Donald Trump's administration is aiming to bring the first group of white South Africans to the United States via its refugee program as soon as next week. 3 people familiar with the matter have said. It's a divisive move.
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Especially given that Trump has been blocking refugee admissions from the rest of the world.
The new Pope faces a crisis. It's about money. The Vatican is in dire financial straits. Maybe the cardinals picked an American for the papacy because America is the church's richest province. Because somehow the cardinals overcame their unease at electing someone from a country with Donald Trump as their head of state. Well, they elected him. Of course, Pope Leo will have to grapple with doctrinal issues. Blessing same-sex couples, for example, ordaining female deacons, or offering communion to divorced and remarried Catholics. Steering church teaching, that is job 1 for a pope. Job 2 will be fixing the money problem, which seems almost impossible. The Vatican has a $400 million pension liability and a $100 million annual budget deficit. It's not exactly broke, but it's real close. If it were a normal country, the Vatican could raise taxes and or cut costs. Well, the Vatican is anything but normal. Under its founding charter, it cannot tax the 900 souls who call it home. Pope Francis tried to cut costs, but he ran into chronic stalling tactics from the bureaucracy. Financial worries are said to have been a big reason for Pope Benedict's retirement. He was just overwhelmed. Hard to believe that the main source of revenue is the sale of museum tickets, But that is where most of the Vatican's income comes from. And yes, it dried up completely during the long COVID shutdown. That made the crisis even worse. Now it's crunch time. They have to get some money, and they've got to get it fast. The thing is, the Vatican is cash poor, but it is wildly asset rich. The museums hold Michelangelo's, Da Vinci's, priceless manuscripts, treasures from 2,000 years of history. Why not sell a few items? Well, the Vatican has always been loath to monetize its treasures, but there's an American running the show now, and Americans are very good at selling assets to bring in cold hard cash. Leo could even call up Elon Musk for advice.
Well, we announced today a big order, $1.7 billion, when we awarded to two companies, Quanta Services and Kiewit, to build the largest transmission line in the United States, spanning 800 miles.
Wow, the largest transmission miles.
Right.
Tell us about that. What is the transmission?
So this would be highway system for the electrons, for electricity to move from where it's produced to where it's needed to power AI, data centers, industries, much needed electricity in this country to really unleash American energy, domestic energy, to be able to power our businesses, particularly with manufacturing and AI emphasis here now in the United States.
Like trains. So in Germany, they have the first electric highway, as hybrid trucks are connected to overhead wires, allowing them to recharge while traveling on the country's main transportation routes. So this 6-mile-long stretch uses the same technology as trains and trams, making it an eco-friendly option for freight transport.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box, provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. We will, and if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books, It's Time to Re-Educate. Also, if new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance, do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation.